So we're here in Cape Town
We're here in Cape Town
with my boy Alex.
with his boy.
Alex,
Yeah, my man.
tell me, brother, what does it mean to, well, let's just start this way. Like, I love the SIIZ brand
Yeah.
tagline. When you master your light, you master your life. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Well, I think it goes back to, we can say, even the beginning of the creation of the universe, and even in the first chapter in the Bible, they say God spoke and he spoke and light, you know, let there be light, he said, and then creation came. And if we look at nature, everything is dependent on sunlight.
Yeah.
And when we say master your light, it's not just the external light, but also the light inside of us,
Yeah.
the soul. So we're trying to say that if you master your light, both internally and externally,
Yeah.
you'll master your life.
Yeah.
And we thought that suited our brand and also the philosophy of and the way we think for the people who are part of the brand. I think it's a nice message.
I love it, bro. And it's quite fitting that, you know, we've got this beautiful sunset right now on Table Mountain. Like, we've been chasing sunsets this week,
Yes, we have.
getting some beautiful shots and stuff. And, you know, I think even just wearing the glasses, like, I think one of the most amazing things that resonated with me about the SIIZ brand was that, you know, it was about simplification. And I think there's so much like advice out there on don't do this, don't do that, like, you know, it can get overwhelming sometimes when it comes to
Definitely.
your health.
Definitely.
So I'm just curious to hear, like, you know, what's your sort of philosophy when it comes to, you know, staying healthy and like being in the natural rhythms of the day and also, you know, mastering your light. So, I mean, yeah, where would you sort of start with that?
I mean, if you think about it, all the food we eat is actually condensed sunlight,
Okay.
right? So when you eat food, what your body is unpacking the light, which is inside of food, and that feeds your organism, if we can call it that. And so it's about telling people how important it is to reconnect with the natural cycles of night and day.
Yeah.
And how
Oh, sorry, little guy.
No, it's okay, buddy. And how important it is, you know, to get your light right.
Yeah.
And we know that we have a circadian rhythm which wakes us up at a certain time of day, but this one also is dependent on the light that we get on our eyes, in our eyes, on our skin.
Yep.
And so if you wake up in the morning, you get the sunrise and light in your eyes, then you're gonna have a much better day than if you wake up in the middle of nothing.
Yeah. Like, can you tell me a little bit about, you know, the importance of sort of circadian rhythms and, you know, why, like what can you sort of expect to feel and experience when that sort of, you know, works? And maybe just start by telling me, you know, what life looks like when your circadian rhythm is sort of messed up and muddled, because, you know, I've struggled with sleep for a long time, man.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years. Like, I've been sleep deprived.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. So tell me, like, where, you know, what's that sort of about, and, you know, what does life look like once the circadian rhythms are in
Well, so
check?
we have some systems in the body, and they do different things. Like, one, we have a system that produces hormones, and we all hear that when your hormones are out of whack, your life is going to be out of whack. And so if you get a specific light in the morning, this is the most important thing in order to kind of set the right production of the right hormones at the right type of day. So you heard about dopamine.
Yep.
It's like a motivation hormone. And then you heard about serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone.
Yeah.
And these both gets produced when you wake up in the morning and you get the sun in your eyes.
Yeah.
And serotonin later in the night gets turned into melatonin once darkness comes, but there's no darkness anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's on their phone, TV, artificial light, working indoors, all that stuff. And so when you get your light right, everything falls into place. You have energy, you have mental clarity, emotional stability, you have extra energy, you have you know, motivation, you feel good.
Yeah.
And that makes you a, what can we say? it's better for you and better for everybody around you,
Yeah.
to put it simply. So, and that's how we've been living for millions of years,
Yeah.
or for however long.
Yeah. Oh, should we take a seat somewhere? So I'd love you to just tell me what you think about, you know, like, I guess I can just share from my journey. Like you know, I've tried loads of different things, but I think it got to a stage where I was like getting really overwhelmed with stuff online.
Yeah.
It was like I'd scroll on Twitter, I'd scroll on X, I'd go on Instagram, and it's like a new diet, a new thing, a new piece of technology. I had a Whoop on, I would track my sleep. And what I actually found was it created more anxiety.
Yeah, it
Health
can.
anxiety.
It can.
And maybe it was helping me from a health standpoint, but I felt like the anxiety, the stress that it was actually causing potentially did more harm than good. So I mean, for anyone who maybe experiences some of that overwhelm when it comes to health advice, I mean, like what can you do, and how can you sort of see the truth from, you know, the next big fad or something along those lines?
Well, I think it all comes back to basics. Like we are dependent on light, and again, like I said, like all the food we eat is condensed sunlight. All our biological functions in the body pretty much is happening through light communicating with your body. And there's a growing field on this. More and more science is coming out proving, you know, how important light is, how important circadian rhythm is for your gut function, for your brain, for everything. And so unless you have the basics, which is you wake up and you sleep at the right time, you get enough light in your eyes, on your skin, and obviously maybe second to that, or maybe even more important, is you shouldn't be surrounded just by a bunch of assholes at the same time. You know, maybe that's even worse. But so have good circadian rhythm, which is pretty basic. We've had that for millions of years. And then that's all it takes pretty much. A good circadian rhythm, eating at the right time of day. And then you don't need much more than that. And then obviously if you're a professional athlete or somebody who's aspiring to, you know, be super healthy, then there will always be small things that you can add to that for sure. But I think there's too much information today. And if you can get back to the simple basic principles of what health actually is, it's light, water, and magnetism. You know, our bodies are what, 70-something% water. So we should have good water. We should have clean air. And we should have a good circadian rhythm with the right light. Because how are you going to power this when the sun the sun powers all life on earth, and us included. But we're constantly sitting under artificial light, which doesn't even come close to that power. So we can't expect to feel amazing if we're living in an artificial environment, eating artificial food, watching artificial news, listening to artificial music, staying around artificial people, drinking artificial water almost, which comes out of the tap. You know, wearing artificial clothes. I mean, it's just back to basics pretty much.
Simplifying.
Yeah.
I think that's what has been a good experience for me, like, you know, because I've been wearing the SIIZ glasses for a few months now. I think I called you and I was like, Alex, I'm feeling really shit. And I was in a period where I was behind the screen pretty much most of the day, you know, sort of in that artificial environment. And, you know, I was really struggling with sleep, struggling with, you know, how things were going. And my health was in a pretty tough place. So I think I posted a video and you were like, Luke, is everything okay? And maybe it looked like, but somehow you were able to see. And so I was like, bro, to be honest, like,
I asked you.
Yeah, you asked me.
I was like, what's going on, man?
I was like, to be honest,
something just wasn't right, man.
Not you know, and so you saw that, and I was like, just perfectly honest with you. I was like, man, I'm not in a great place. So you know, you jumped on a Zoom with me and you sort of took me through some things. And I think what resonated with what you said was around sort of just simplifying things and actually just doing natural things. And you know, immediately after we had that call, you sent me 2 pairs of the glasses, orange, you know, the yellow ones as well. And so you told me to wear the yellow ones, you know, sort of if I'm sitting behind the computer screen, even during the day, you know, in the sort of darkened environments, and then the red glasses, you know, sort of later at night when I'm using the devices. And I think the change that I felt in my experience was almost instantaneous.
Yes.
It was crazy.
It oftentimes is.
Yeah, like what was happening when that happened?
Well, we know about melatonin, right?
Yeah.
We hear about melatonin supplements, melatonin this, melatonin that. And if you don't block artificial light, how is your body going to know that it's darkness and it should release melatonin into your blood? It first has to start producing it, but when you're looking at your phone, you think that the sun is still in the middle of the sky. Your biology, you're tricking it. And so the first day you use them, now your brain actually can release melatonin. And melatonin is the number one antioxidant in the body, the number one cancer suppressing hormone, and it's the most critical hormone to repair the small little beautiful engines that you have inside every single cell of your body, which is called the mitochondria. And so once you do that, it's like injecting yourself with health, right? You just block the junk light, and then you feel better straight away. And it's that easy. It's literally that easy. So yeah, it's always a great joy when people try them and the next day they're like, I had the best sleep of my life. And I can't tell you how many times I heard that. It happens over and over again. Even we gave one of the guys we were working here 2 days ago, he said, 2 best days of my life. I want to buy it to my mother.
Read the text.
Where's my phone? I think I got my phone. Yeah, it's in the back.
So for everyone watching, basically we've been filming a brand film over the last week and basically shooting the SIIZ glasses, and we had 2 models on set, and Alex gave
I'll get it.
a pair of the glasses to each one of the models. He also gave a pair of the glasses to each one of the crew.
Of course, I put it here now.
And Stuart, the model, who you guys will all see very soon, basically sent Alex's text, which I think is pretty cool.
So he said, hey brother, how did the rest of the shoot go? Yeah, slept really well the last 2 days. Incredible. Definitely noticed a huge difference. And I was thinking of buying the glasses from you, want to give them to my mom for a Christmas present, trying to get her sleep dialed in as well. And so he was just, happy. Because this is a guy he's into herbalism, into grounding, sunlight, barefoot. So I was surprised that he said he's heard a lot about the glasses. But it just goes to show that no matter who you are, like, they're gonna work. Because we're the same in a way. And then I say it's the world's greatest and most simple and effective sleep tool. Except being outdoors, and living the natural lifestyle. But today in 2024, it's almost impossible. And you can't expect people to start living like we did in before that.
Yeah, and I think we don't have to go back to the Stone Ages to have health and to be able to sleep well anymore, which is amazing because, like phones and technology is incredible in its own right if used responsibly. But I think what it's done for me is it's allowed me to use it more freely in the evening, to be like, okay, no, I can look at this, or I can do some work, or
guilt-free,
guilt-free, brother. Watch a YouTube video of guilt-free. So that's awesome, brother. I would love to just hear like a little bit about the inspiration behind why you guys got behind SIIZ and sort of the founding principles and everything.
So I started using these glasses maybe 7-8 years ago. Yeah, I think 8 years ago. So I was working with a lot of athletes, and I was always recommending them to start using them after I kind of started studying quantum biology and how light affects our bodies. And it became clear to me that this is something that's going to become more and more, known. And it's such an easy thing, and you don't need to, what can I say? It's revolutionizing, but it's not something outrageous that people need to, go on a 50-day detox or only drink water for a week or whatever. It's very simple. You have glasses, you put them on. And so we thought about starting this for quite a long time, but it never we never got it going. And then I went to Lebanon to learn from a friend of mine, John Haddad. He's a biomechanics and movement therapist, probably the greatest in the world. And he had actually started a blue light blocking glasses company a year or so before, but he had to shut it down. because the situation in Lebanon, I don't know, the country went bankrupt and the banks took the money and a revolution and the whole thing. So then when I came there, I was like, why don't we just restart it? And so that's the thing. Like, he's in health and biomechanics, holistic health. My friend Eirik, also from Norway, he's a professional football player. He's in health. Me, myself, I'm interested in health and working with professionals. So we say, let's put our minds together and let's do this. And because we already had the optician that we had, we already have like the sources, and we're always out meeting new athletes and meeting new interesting people in that field. And so we thought, hey, this is a great idea. So that's one side of it. And I think the other side of it, for me personally more, is I think it's a perfect bridge between the physical and the non-physical aspect of a human being, because it all comes back to light. And we hear always that, somebody felt like a ray of sunshine. Some people just feel like sunshine. And when we hear about near-death experiences, we hear about people, I saw the light. It's like, I don't want to come back, but I had to come back. It was so beautiful there. And like I say in the first chapter of the Bible, let there be light. So for me, because I obviously believe in a creator and a higher intelligence, and I believe that intelligence is living within every single human being. And I believe that is light. It needs to be made out of something. It just can't be nothing. So if we have a soul, it needs to be made out of something. And that, for me, is light. And so I think if we can kind of pick people's curiosity with our slogan, master your light, master your life, maybe we can go ahead and create something very unique and without pushing anything on anybody. And I think, with the increasing science on how important sunlight is, we're also seeing an increased sign in, proving that there's a field around us, an electromagnetic field. And so it's a very exciting, what can I say, like a project to work on, or a company or an idea. And I think it can bring a lot of value and a lot of good and help a lot of people. And that means a lot, that we were able to inspire and go about and create positive change. And then we'll just have to wait and see how far we can go with that.
And so you've said a few times to me, that there's something bubbling. There's almost like this feeling happening, globally, and people are potentially waking up to certain things. I'd love to hear like what your perspective is like on a global scale. What's sort of happening in the collective consciousness, for lack of a better way to explain it.
I think that's a great word, to be honest.
Okay.
No, I mean, you can see clearly that there's a trend. We were talking about it earlier today. There's a trend. People are going away from clubbing. There's half of England's nightlife is closed. It's finished. Wellness centers are popping up all around the world. There is retreats and meditations and detoxes and blue lights and red lights and ice baths and saunas and running clubs and hotels, and big brands, luxury brands are turning into that. So obviously, because there's much more information available to people now, because everybody has access to a phone, people don't longer just receive information from the mainstream media, which thankfully has lost their grip on most of the world. There will be a change in the collective mind, the collective consciousness, which will lead to better, choices, which reflects back in how the world changes. And I think that's there's a global shift. There's an adjustment of consciousness happening individually, but also globally at the same time. And so, yeah, that's where I see we're headed to. And that's the most exciting thing in the world, because now there's universities coming out with saying we've been able to cure cancer, which of course we've been able to do since day one. It's just been suppressed, and there's miracles of people getting cured for the craziest diseases you can imagine, because now the science is there.
and the science is available, and people are picking it up and they're sharing it on their social media, and it spreads like wildfire. So thankfully, you know, now we have access to that information much easier than we had maybe a few years back, because there's been a lot of censoring of different types of information. But now it seems like the tables have turned in a way, and that there's a wave coming, and either you ride it or you drown. Either you, if not, you're just gonna have to suffer more and more and more and more and more. So it's beautiful to see, because everywhere I travel in the world, you see now that there's a greater community feeling. People are coming together. People are like the walls of people are coming down more easily. There's more love being shared, pretty much, you know, and so that's happening on a global scale, and that also has been talked about in all, or not, maybe not all, but many major belief systems. Like, we go through cycles, and it seems like we're going into a cycle now where people are actually starting to get it more, and that's beautiful.
Amazing, brother. Look at that.
That's called tablecloth, in case you didn't know.
How's that for beautiful light?
Wow. Look at the blue in the sky. Like,
Yeah, the colors. But Alex, my man, look, it's been awesome to work with you this week.
it's been I've had the best time. I've laughed and joked so much with you and your brother.
It's been great.
And Danny, your lady, has been amazing. We've dragged her around on everything, and she's the most positive thing in the whole world.
Yeah, she's smashing. She's great. So, yeah, man, awesome. It's been a huge pleasure, and excited to, you know, see where SIIZ goes from here.
Yeah, I'm very thankful, man.
It's great work and everything, and yeah, man, let's go catch the rest of the sunset.
Let's do that. Thanks, brother.
Yes, brother.